Welcome back to the channel, folks. If you can't see already, it's paint day. We're painting, or paint night, technically. We are painting the cab. And behind us, we got the beautiful sunset, as always. Let's take a look real quick. Just in case you wanted to see it. I think we might have missed it just a little bit, but it's looking good. Anyway, so I learned something about this truck. Two things. A, the hood is not the original hood. B, the truck used to be a couple different flavors. Take a look. So if we wipe this guy here, you can see there's obviously the gray, and then there's some red showing as well, and some green, interestingly enough. I've been sanding down all of this stuff to make it super smooth. This looks like it's been bonded at one point in time, but all this has been sanded here. The front has been covered off. We got the windshield taped off, side windows taped off, the sliders are taped off, a portion of the back roll bar is taped off, the back window is taped off. So this guy is just covered because the wires for the batteries, I didn't pull all those out, so that's all still kind of just there. This box has been removed. More tape down here, taped all that off. We've sanded some stuff here, tried to smooth it out, sanded a bunch right here, as well as right here. There's even some more red. You can see it. Get some water on it. You can see that red coming out. So maybe this truck was red at one point in time. I don't really know. I'll tell you what though, a red square body would not be bad, like a nice cherry red. But we're gonna go a different route, and we're gonna go with navy blue. So I don't know how it's gonna be, but I'm excited for it. So we're gonna get into it right about now. So we are making progress. This blue is super blue. I think just because it's wet right now, it'll maybe darken up a little bit. It is gloss though, so maybe it won't, but I'm glad to see the hood looks good, because the hood is lighter than the rest of the body, and it was taking more coats to get the hood to darken. But this side's good. The back is looking good. Haven't got the roof line yet up there, but everything down here is looking good. The secret to painting with spray paint, I happen to get the let's see here, I got the Rust-Oleum. What is this considered? I guess it's just custom spray, Ultimate 5-in-1, and I was switching between 4 and 5, and 4 and 5 is vertical fan and horizontal fan. And the secret to painting, from the little bit that I learned when I was in a fabrication shop and they had a paint booth inside, was that as you're coming across the part, you want to fan out. So you don't ever start here and then go, because you get a lot in one area. You kind of start here, and then you fan into the part, run the whole part, and then fan out. That way there is no start and stop, like abrupt amounts of paint in one spot. And so far it's looking good. On another note, these cans are fantastic. I have 6 of them. I only used 2 so far, and I've got both sides of the truck done. Both sides have 2 coats. And I got the entire back done minus the roof line plus 2 coats. So I still have 4 more for the hood and the roof and touch up. Good morning, folks. It is another day working in the shop. It is Thanksgiving today, so happy Thanksgiving to you. Now, the truck got painted last night. It is the morning after, and we're going to take a look at it. It is dry. The hood needs another coat, but let's just admire the beauty before we get there. So before I closed up last night, I gave the doors and the fenders one more sweep of the paint, but there she is. It is definitely very blue. If it's hard to see the color, it's actually more of a navy blue. That's more of like a blue, like that's painter tape blue. It's more navy blue, but nonetheless, it's still very blue. The hood's gonna get redone because you can kind of see it like lightens up a little bit. It might be hard for you guys to see it, I don't know. It's obviously not in the sunlight, so it's kind of hard for everything, but she is definitely not gray anymore. The roof got done as well, which I'm not going to stress on too hard. And then of course, these corners got done. But look at this, she's so shiny. It's dry too, like you can touch it. It's completely dry. Alrighty, so the next step here, what we're gonna do, while the paint is drying and I'm not impeding on it, we are going to actually weld the front diff. Now, I have locking hubs on both sides on the front, so if I weld that, it will only be an issue in dirt. So we're gonna weld the front and see what happens. The front is a Dana 44, which is a pretty small axle. It's the same axle that comes in Jeep Wranglers, for the folks that might know that a little bit better. Except for this is an 8-lug, so it's just got an 8-lug hub instead of a 5-lug hub like Wranglers have. But it's a small axle, so it's not something that I'm committed to. So if I do weld it, I do damage it, or I do break it down the road, it's not something that I'm gonna cry over. So we'll just replace it with a bigger axle. But with that being said, let's get to it. There are a couple things to know, but I will tell you this much. When I had my company, I used to charge people 3 times as much. 3 times as much to weld a diff if it was still in the vehicle. And the reason for that is because welding a diff in the vehicle is a pain in the ass. I'll just be real with you guys. It sucks. It's not fun. You're on the ground. I'm going to get a ton of slag all over my arms. I'm going to completely cook my arms here in a minute. Whereas if I was on a bench, I wouldn't have that problem. The only downside is that I can't charge myself. So the only thing I get is the punishment. I don't get the charge for it. So that's a bummer. But I guess I get the reward afterwards, right? So I guess it kind of works out, but still. Here we go. See how much oil's in this thing. Oh yeah. It actually does not look too bad. Is there any metal in it? Let's see. No metal at all. I can grab my drive shaft and I can actually spin the ring gear. Spinning the drive shaft, it's spinning in the transfer case, spinning in the ring gear here, and it's also spinning the entire yoke. And the spinning stops at each hub because they're not locked. Okay? So this is why I'm able to weld the front diff and have 0 issues on the street, because they're not engaged. You do not ever want to weld a front diff if you are in a stock Jeep Wrangler, because you do not have locking hubs. I mean, if you do, then you're a gangster, but most of them don't have that from factory. You got to add that in by swapping hubs. So if you don't have locking hubs, do not weld your front diff, because you will not be able to steer. It will be impeccably hard to steer your vehicle. Now, it's still going to be hard to steer this thing in the dirt, but it will be easier because the dirt is forgiving and it kind of slides and turns and moves with you. Whereas on the street, when you have maximum grip, you're breaking stuff. So never do this. Never ever do this if you don't have locking hubs. So when welding a diff, there's a couple things you got to know, okay? First and foremost, way up into here, you can see a gear way in here. This guy. That guy is what I call the pinion gear, and that comes off the drive shaft. You don't touch that. Up next, you have the ring gear, this big old boy right here. It's the biggest one. It comes all the way around. You don't touch that either. No touching this guy at all, okay? What you're going to be dealing with is this massive gears right here. So what you got is you have a gear here, and a gear on this side, okay? And then you also have a gear up top right here. And then you have like a center shaft that holds these two apart. And then right here, this little chunk of metal right there is actually the end of the axle shaft. for passenger side, and right here is the end of the axle shaft for driver's side. So that's what we've got so far. It does not look pretty by any means, but it is super strong. We have this guy right here, 1/4 inch plate, boxed, cut the ends off, thick boy. This guy goes right in here, so like that, and then bam, and then you weld that guy in there, and it locks it in. The important step here is that you cannot weld the axle shafts. So for example, this guy right here, you cannot weld that guy. I mean, you can. Here's the deal. If you weld the axle shaft, when you break one, you can't get it out. And then you're done. There she is, folks. So you see the little plate, little flat section in there? Plate is fully burned in. I know it does not does not look pretty at all, but I can guarantee you that sucker's not gonna break. It ain't coming undone. And it's still got to weld the other side. But I remember why I charged 3 times as much to do this for customers. Because my neck is currently retired. Oh man, and I got the little curtain that's on the front of the truck down, so the sun's not blasting me, which is really nice. But yeah, this sucks. This definitely is not fun. Like, this is... Parts of this truck have sucked. This sucks. Now when I lock my front hubs together, both wheels will be locked completely. And if I'm not mistaken, I got 0 weld on the actual axle shafts. So if I snap one of them, I can still replace it in the event that that happens. I'm gonna try to avoid that. But I just realized something, and I wanna show you guys. It's beautiful. So, we got some sunlight on the truck here, right? Let me close this for you. Okay, we got some sunlight on the truck. She's looking good, right? Fenders are looking nice, but I just realized the Chevy logo, yo, the same flavor? Come on. If you remember earlier on, in, I think it was the boot? No, I don't even know what episode it was in. One of the episodes, I said that we needed to remove the Chevy logo on the front, because this is a GMC, it is not a Chevy, and simply enough, doesn't fit. And I also said that Chevy is a poor man's, Chevy is a poor man's GMC, and GMC is a poor man's Cadillac. But, after seeing the paint match the logo, I think we're going to have to keep it. Because... Ooh. Someone's done a firework off. Because it is just way too good. So if you guys have been supporting this channel from the beginning, I just want to say thank you. This truck has been a crazy process for me. Like, insane. I didn't think we were going to get to painting it. I honestly, when I first started doing this, you know, towards middle of March, I'd say like April, March, April, there was a few short months there where I wasn't sure that I was going to get this even to this point, because I've had not so good luck in the past with projects where I just gave up on them, or they were too expensive, or I started the project and then I realized I can't afford what I'm doing and just stopped doing it because it was just too much money. That's happened more often than I'd like to admit. So the fact that we are here under budget on this truck right now, but also just painted it, like, so crazy to me. Alrighty, so I just got done having some Thanksgiving food. I feel a little bit pregnant, but the work does not stop. We gotta keep on going. So up next, we're gonna pull the rear diff off. We're not welding the rear diff. We're just gonna pull it off, and then we are going to paint the front and rear diff, and then put new fluid in them, and you know, seal them back up, and bada bing, bada boom. But ideally, we're gonna have color matched differentials, covers, which you know, something fancy, I guess. Alrighty, so we got this guy. It's kind of what it looks like. Give you guys perspective, what we're working with here. And let's put this guy on this guy. Grab this guy, top bolt goes up top. The blue looks good. Welcome back to the channel. So it is another beautiful day. I have 2 days to get this truck somewhat ready for our adventure, but we have a healthy issue. Let me show you what's going on. So this stuff here, gasket maker, right? The red stuff. It says that it needs 24 hours to dry. Okay, cool. Well, I put the gasket maker on. You guys saw me do that. I put it on 72 hours ago, or 3 days ago, and this stuff is not even close to dry. It's still completely wet. I got no oil leaking yet. I'm amazed. Oh, wow. Bad end after Taco Bell, huh? That was. Oh. We've all been there. Don't lie. We've all been there, okay? It's just the truck's turn. Okay, well, I put 3 bottles of diff fluid in the rear diff and it's not full yet. I'm out of fluid. So we're gonna move on for the moment because we still need to get more fluid. But by no means am I a saint. And by no means do I know everything. And when it comes to wrapping cars and vinyls, I am not the guy. But I'm okay at it. I'm okay enough to try. I will say, in vinyls, I have $167. In 2 of these, 2 horns, and 2 recoveries. So, they're not cheap. But I'm thinking this guy right here. No, why are you getting stuck right there? No, there it is. Okay. I don't like this. Okay, so I see I have a center mark right there. You can kind of see it right under the, right between the 0 and the 7. It's a little black line that I made. Oh! No way. Oh, that was stressful. That was horrible. Why would you do that to me? Oh, wrong side. Okay. Actually, I don't even want to use that. Use this guy. These are not sticking that well. Oh. It's the wrong phone number. It's not. Don't mess this up, child. It's got me on my knees. Wow. We went there. Alrighty, horn. I'm gonna lay you out right there. It is what it is. That's where it's going. Where's the credit card? Del Taco gift card. I'll never eat at Del Taco again in my life. So I don't mind sacrificing Del Taco gift card. Ready, folks? Nice and tight. So far, so good. Oh my gosh, the stress levels right now are so high. Boom, horn on the truck. Beep beep. I don't like being this stressed out. There she is. Here goes nothing. I don't get stressed out easy, folks. But I will not get these done and back before this event, so this has to work. And we're not pulling the paint off. How about that? Woo! Not bad. Yeah, we're just gonna pick a spot and go for it. And then I'll just mirror image the other side. Oh, no, 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 no. Oh. Oh, okay. This sticker stressed me out, man. Alright, the oob tube lighter. Well, I guess it's going there now, because that's where my hand just left it. There she is. YouTube. Boom. Ah, my nails. I scratched the truck. Golly. There she is, folks. The truck is labeled. So when someone takes a picture of the side of the truck, they're going to get all of that. And they're going to be like, oh, I know how to get a hold of that guy. I also know where to tag him. We also know what's going on. I was going to get a logo actually made, but just to get a logo made was $500. And I don't really have anything in mind yet, so I was like, let's just do simple vinyls for now so we can get the phone number on the truck, because if you look at a cool truck and you're like, who do I contact? You know? So, yeah, boom. Phone number, YouTube, and company name, which really isn't a company yet, but it's kind of a company, but it's not. Let's keep on going. So I want to show you the bad thing that's going on right now. This is the plug that goes from the side of the oil, basically the filter, but it's off the motor, and goes to the oil pressure regulator or gauge or whatever. And this little guy is the adapter for that line to attach to, and then it goes to the cage, right? This guy goes into here, like such. Well, what I have going on is I have a bolt, because the oil pressure gauge leaks oil. Not good. So I have this guy, I have a bolt with nylon thread locker, and then I have a gasket I'm gonna put onto here and into here to then prevent this guy from leaking. That's the idea. And to make matters even worse, as a lubricant for the washer to go on, I'm using Loctite. I'm hitting all of the wrong answers right now, but it's gonna work. So we have Loctite, then we have thread locker, then we have a washer that's not designed for this application at all whatsoever going on here. So you're probably wondering, like, Anthony, shouldn't you have an oil pressure gauge so you know if you have oil pressure? The answer is yes, you should. The other answer to that is if you lose oil pressure at any point in time, the odds of you blowing your motor are pretty much 98%. Because you will likely not notice it right away, because you're probably not looking at your dash, and your engine will start to knock before you realize it's knocking. By the time you realize it's knocking, it's already knocked so hard that the FBI has come in the back door, which means that you have blown your motor. But realistically speaking, if it had 45 pounds of oil pressure, I'm not worried about the oil pump. So here she is. You have a nut, a bolt that has been sanded down, so that way I can get a socket over the big guy. I know it's probably super hard to see, but you have this guy right here, which is the line, and then you have the bolt and the contraption that I just showed you guys going into the motor, which did not leak oil, so we're good. You guys see that? Where that oil is at? So we just did an oil change on the truck, and everything that I read online said this motor takes anywhere from 6 to 7 quarts, depending on the oil filter. And I got the same size oil filter that it had, and I put it in, whatever, but I only put in 5 quarts of oil, and it's at its line. So either Google's not mathing correctly, or that dipstick is sitting a little too deep into the pan. What you guys just saw me weld happens to be a bracket for the water. So the water bracket is mounted. Not the sexiest thing in the world, but it's simple, it's effective, it's out of the way. The floor is now cleaned up, which is nice. So as you saw, we got the water gauge mounted, which is super nice. Keep it off the floor. Floor is clean now. I did mount a GoPro right on the shock tower. I feel like that was a good angle. Looks to be good. We also have a GoPro mount on the glass right there facing back of the truck, inside the cab, and we also have a GoPro mount on top of the headache rack. So with that being said, I'm gonna leave you guys alone for tonight. You have a beautiful night. Hope you enjoyed this video. It's been kind of a lot of stuff going on. The next one, we're going out to Johnson Valley to clean trash. I have never been more excited in my life to clean trash. Have a good night. I'll see you in the next one. It's gonna be good.